Yeah, good evening, everyone. Please wait for 2 more minutes. We'll allow everyone and then we can start the session. Thank you. Okay, we will start the session. Hope my voice is audible and the screens are visible. Can anyone please respond or put it in the chat box, please? Is my voice is clear? Okay, thank you so much. So, as I didn't get any reply from the NPTEL team, I can't upload the first recording. So I have called them. Tomorrow they will solve the issue, and they asked me to continue in Gmeet itself. So maximum 100 participants only. I hope today it will not cross more than 100, and I'll continue in Google Meet. And today I'm going to take the week one session, and then tomorrow unofficially I am taking the week two session. So if you have time, please join by tomorrow 6 to 8 again, only for this week. I will finish the second week lecture also, and then you can complete the week one and week two assignments both by tomorrow. That is the deadline. And next week onwards, it will be only on Tuesday, 6 to 8. Okay, third week onwards. Sorry for the interruption because there will be this is due to the connectivity issue with the NPTEL. So this is the first week I am taking today, and then tomorrow, 6 to 8, I am taking the week two. Nothing is mandatory. You can attend, or the recording will be there in the SWAYAM portal. So you can also access the recordings through the link provided. Okay. Yeah. So I don't want to waste the time. So just I will start with the session. So hope you all know me already. I am Saravanan, PhD scholar and Prime Minister Research Fellow of National Institute of Technology, Tiruchirappalli. I am from civil background, and I did my undergraduate in civil engineering from Tamil Nadu and my master's in environmental engineering from Anna University. And I have joined National Institute of Technology, Tiruchirappalli in 2021. And I have submitted the proposal to the Government of India Prime Minister Research Fellowship Scheme. in 2022, and I am a PMRF scholar now. I am in my third year of PMRF. You can also go through the PMRF website, and you can know about the fellowship and what are the requirements. All the IITs, IASC, and most of the NITs. I think only NIT Trichy is the eligible NIT, having the NIRF ranking less than 25. So you can also check with your institute, if it is eligible, you can also apply for PMRF. And this budget, not yesterday, day before yesterday, they have announced a new 10,000 seats for PMRF 2.0, and it will also going to start in June 2025 maybe. So you can also check, and you can also apply for PMRF fellowship. So as a part of PMRF deliverable, I have to take at least 4 hours of class in nearby schools or polytechnic colleges or in NPTEL. So as a part of PMRF TAship, I am taking this course on air pollution and control in NPTEL. So I am assisting the professor, Dr. Bodaram Gujar, and he is from IIT Roorkee. I'm using his material with his permission. I am taking the same, and the 1 hour session will be the same lecture material what professor has taught in the videos, and the other one hour will be the older assignment. I will solve the problems. That's it. Okay, not much numericals. Everything will be multiple choice question. You can also post your queries in the chat box, or anytime you can unmute and you can ask. Okay, so today, Tuesday, we are taking the first week, and tomorrow, Wednesday, we are taking the second week, and the next week onwards, it is only on Tuesday 68. So you will not get any mail for tomorrow. Please attend if you want. Tomorrow 68. I will just record the video anyway. Okay. So okay, we will start the session. Thank you. So, in the first week lecture material, we are going to see about the introduction to land air pollution, and what are the air pollutants and their sources, and the effect why we need to study what the air pollutants will create to the atmosphere and human health and to the environment. That and all we are going to see how it will affect the environment, human health, and other animals, as well as the materials also. It will have an impact. So that impacts and all we are going to see in this week. Okay, so I will go to the lecture material. So why we are saying is as a air pollution, and why we are saying as a control instead of saying prevention, because water and all we are saying the word treatment, wastewater we are using the term treatment, but air pollution we are mentioning control, not air pollution treatment. Why we are saying like that? Because what are the pollutant we are addressing is a part of air, but if you are seeing in water, in water pollution and all, if you see what are the contaminants like heavy metals or any dye or any water pollutants, like biological compounds or anything will be the external agent. But what are the pollutant we are discussing in air pollution that are all already present in the air? Because carbon dioxide we are saying as a air pollutant, but it is a component of air. And also VOC we are saying as a pollutant, but it is already present in the natural air. So whenever the level exceeds and we are trying to control the exceeded concentration to the below the original concentration, then it is called control instead of treatment. Treatment is removal of the pollutant from the system. So if you want to remove the whole carbon dioxide from the system, then it is called air pollution treatment. But we are not doing that. We are reducing the level of the pollutant and making it into a stable form for easy to access for the environment, and further it will not affect any, it will not create any hazards to the human health. Like that we are controlling. That's why the name is called air pollution and control. So now we are going to see what is air pollution. So whenever there is a whenever there is a exceeding in the concentration of a pollutant or any compound present in the air, which will create some significant impact on the comfort, health, and welfare of the human being, then it is termed as air pollution. So there are lots of definition for air pollution given in many textbooks, and we are going to see that only. The presence of contaminants or a pollutant substance in the atmosphere interfere with the human health and the welfare. So everything is related with the human health, also with the environment. Whenever it is affecting the human health and environment, then that contaminant is called air pollutant. The process is called air pollution. Okay, so the excessive concentration of a foreign material or whatever the material that is already present in the air, that it is called air pollution. Okay, so why the air pollution? How it evolved? Whenever the human evolution started, we started lighting, inventing the fire, and from the fire, smoke started comes. From that, air pollution started. Okay, so the major source of air pollution is the smoke and fire. Wherever fire is there, smoke will be there. Smoke will create a air pollution. So this is the evolution of human beings and relation with the air pollution. So how it started in olden centuries in Roman era and all. So first they have started mining and smelting as an industrial activity. So for extracting the metals. So at that time they have burnt a lot of fuels like coal, wood, and all. So that created a larger amount of toxic fumes, and this melting of the metals created a pollutant of lead and other metal concentration in the air, which got increased 10 times than the background level. So wherever there is a air that is a clean air, compared to that, we have a 10 times increase of the same pollutant in the ambient air. Ambient air is the one which is the air surrounding the surrounding us, that is called atmospheric air or ambient air. So you can address at least 10 times of higher pollution in the same concentration in the same pollutant we could observe during this time of mining and smelting activities. So after that, industrialization has started. They have started with the handcraft and these things, and then initially it was with the handcraft materials. Later, due to industrialization, everything got into industry and machine manufacturing process. That's why it started from the United Kingdom or European civilization. The industrial revolution got speed up. From that, we are starting burning lots of fuels such as wood, coal, and all. So burning of wood in the caves itself we have started. The same have produced smoke that was most likely tolerated indoors. Now you can see in the archaeological data, we have found lot of thick black layers on the indoors of the caves. That is due to the deposition of smoke particles or the particles that is generated from burning of wood. So that they have identified and they are reporting us. Already they had an indoor air pollutant during that time itself. So, scientists have already found that blackening of lungs in the sample of mummies that they have digged from the archaeological survey areas, and they revealed a long-time exposure of smoke on the domestic fires. That revealed that already they have invented the fire and they have affected with indoor lung pollutants. So, from considering this concerns due to burning of wood and all, they have shifted to coal, and also wood has less efficiency and less energy value compared to coal. So, coal is having higher calorific value, so they have shifted to coal in the industrial era. In the 16th century and all, population started increasing, wood demand got increased. So, we need to go with an alternate fuel. So, they started with the consumption of coal because wood price got hiked. So, they started with consumption of coal, and then uh, consumption of coal got increased and the complaints about smoke emissions got increased. So that's the 16th century state. Then air pollution of wood burning, then we shifted to coal burning, and then we started with the oil. Now, severe air pollution problem got started. After 1980s and 1990s only, we could able to address. We have already polluted the atmosphere with this type of air pollutant, and we have to control. That's why now all the vehicles are moving to e-vehicles. All the industries are moving to. I mean, energies are derived from renewable energy such as solar, hydro plants, and nuclear energies instead of thermal power plants. And most of the waste management strategies are moving to biological treatment instead of incineration. So this type of things and all started after 20s only. So that we have identified that we have already polluted the air and we have to shift it to different fuels or energy forms. So post-industrial era in the 18th century, if you could see, the consumption of coal got increased and 10 million tons of coal was annually consumed. And then global coal output was increased to 77%, and this rise to the air pollution level and to unprecedented levels. So increase the negative impact on the nature and the human health. That's what we are going to see. What are the impact it has given to the nature and the human health. So this and all you can see in 1300s, 13th century itself, there was a regulation for air pollution. So these are all the regulation history for air pollution. King Edward I of England already banned the use of coal. in 13th century itself, considering its negative impact on the air quality. And then in the same 13th century, Richard II restricted the use of coal. He banned and then he restricts, and then Henry V has restricted the use of coal, and then Queen Elizabeth also objected the taste and smoke of coal. So everything was started objecting. Then in 16th century, there was a fuming or the inconvenience of the air and the smoke dissipated. So they have also banned the coal, and then in 17th century, coal was used for making the steam to pump water and move machineries, smoke and ash produced on the body of coals. So that they have identified on the kilns of the what we say the burners. And in 19th century, USA they have the first regulation or the act. That's the Federal Air Pollution Control Act. In 1960, USA have a Motor Vehicle Exhaust Act and Clean Air Act. This is the base for the all countries for Clean Air Act. 1963, there was a Clean Air Act by the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency of United Nations. That is called US EPA. So they have given lots of guidelines. Based on that, many other countries have also followed different guidelines framed. And then 1965, they have a Motor Vehicle Air Pollution Control Act. In Tamil, India, and every state we have a Motor Vehicle Act correlated with the air pollution. And in 1967, we have a USA have a Air Quality Act, and 1970 Clean Air Act Amendment. The same we have in India also in the 80s itself. We have a 1981. This is the uh, major year that there we have a Air Prevention and Control Act. Then 82 we have a rule on that. So the act was passed in the parliament. Then with that we have framed the rules in 1982, and then 1988 was the Central Motor Vehicle Act. That was in correlation with the air pollution. And 1986 is the EPA. This is the umbrella act for the India Environmental Protection Act. So you can see the timeline here. Based on the impacts of the air pollution, they have a lots of convention happened, and they have discussed what are the targets and the goals to achieve in next 50 years and 100 years to reduce the polluted concentration in the air. So first conference was held in Stockholm in 1972, and then Vienna Convention was happened in 1985, and then Montreal Protocol. Everything this protocols and conventions, conferences, everything was aiming to address only the major issue, that is the climate change or global warming. So everything again related with the air pollution, the emission of carbon dioxide, emission of methane. So how to control? So again everything related with the air pollution only. So these conventions and conferences happened time to time in different countries, and they have addressed and set different goals and objectives to meet up with the standards. So 1987 was Montreal Protocol, and IPCC was happened in Switzerland, and then Earth Summit was happened in Brazil 1992, and then COP. Conference of Parties. Now we have in 24th COP also happened, and then first COP was happened in Berlin 1995. You can also follow up with the different COPs happened in different countries time to time, and what are the objectives, and every country will come and sign some of the treaties. Uh, Somebody commented. I will check one. Sorry. The class will only be on Tuesday online 6 to 8, ma'am. Tomorrow there is an extra class 6 to 8. If you want to join, you can join. There won't be any mail. So you can join directly. I am going to record the second week section. From next week onwards, it will be only Tuesday 6 to 8. Yeah, I'll continue the class. So Paris Agreement happened in 2015. Like that, if you say the environmental protection programs like Stockholm, what they have focused majorly on environmental issues, and Vienna Convention mainly focuses on the harmful effects of ozone layer depletion, because if the ozone layer it started to deplete and we are getting the harmful radiations, and it could affect the human health and environment. So they majorly focus on ozone layer depleting substances like chlorofluorocarbons, how to reduce its emission. So they have banned many countries have banned lots of refrigerants, and they are moving to different refrigerants and all. And then in Montreal Protocol, they have again they concentrated on ozone layer polluting substances. And then IPCC develops climate policies for different countries, and Earth Summit they focus mainly on the sustainable development. Instead of going with linear economy, we have to adopt the circular economy and concentrate on sustainable development. This was spoken in the 1992 Earth Summit, and then first COP they establishes the greenhouse gas emission. That's what a major thing happened for air pollution. So they established the greenhouse gas emission and address the climate change. In Kyoto Protocol happened in Japan in 1997. They also stabilizes the greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmosphere. And Paris Agreement, they limit the global warming below 2 degrees Celsius, preferably 1.5 degrees Celsius compared to the pre-industry level that was aimed to 2050. So before 2050, we have to achieve this level. Okay, then air pollution episodes, that episodes in the sense we can say like emission and its impact on the meteorological condition. Like that, many episodes were happened in world globally. So we are going to see one by one. Like Belgium, we have a Meuse Valley. 1930, we had an episode, and gas attack happened in Los Angeles. Like that, we are going to see one by one here. Uh, can you? Okay. So if somebody raised your hand, so if you have any doubt, please you can unmute and you can ask, or you can put it in the chat box also, no issue. Okay. Okay. So in Belgium, what happened in 1930? There was a densely populated factories that was working on zinc, glass, and steel manufacturing. So that emits a large quantity of air pollutant. So severe respiratory symptoms was happened, and after having 63 deaths, they could recognize and they could be able to control. So that was the episode happened in Belgium, and you can see the gas attack in the Los Angeles. So first city in the US experienced a severe pollution, air pollution problem in the middle of the World War II. So pollution sources were auto exhaust and petroleum refineries. So they started using lots of automobiles. So there has a exact from the each and every automobiles, and petrol refinery industries have emitted lots of pollution. So that causes the Los Angeles gas attack. Then Pennsylvania, they have a problem in US. Again, they have a poor topography. That this topography helps the air pollutants to stay inside. So the better way is to dispose the air pollutant so that we could not have major impact. So if the air pollutants are not disposing, if it is converging in a single area, then it will create a lot of impact to the same place. So we should be able to dispose the pollutant. That and all we are going to see in the second week in the meteorological condition and dispersion. So here we are the topography or the geographical area, how it helps to dispose or how it helps to concentrate the pollutant in the same place. That will also affect the concentration of the air pollutant. So in again the same Pennsylvania, they have a high levels of hydrofluoric acid (HF) level in the air. So that leads to 20 deaths and 600 become ill. So in Great London, there is a smog that they will say like London smog and Los Angeles smog. These are all the episodes, major episodes in the history of air pollution. So huge pollution event in London because of burning of coal factories and power plants only. This is again a Great London smoke. They have a breathing problem with 4,000 deaths in a week. So you could be able to imagine how much impact that has happened in the human health because of the air pollution. Then Los Angeles smog, as I mentioned, it decreases the visibility, not only the lung infection. So visibility got reduced. So the visibility is not there. Then the car accidents and the vehicular accidents may also happen. So that causes again 2,000 auto accidents in a single day. So that is again, you can see how people are having mask inside during that 1950 itself. Yeah. So inversion over New York City. Inversion is a type of meteorological condition that will trap the air pollution in a single area instead of disposing the air pollutants. So if it is concentrated in a single area, then the impact will be more. So high level of air pollution in the history of United States. So they have a toxic combination of SO2 and carbon monoxide. Heart and respiratory issues, and the death rate was increased to an average of 169 deaths in this episodes alone. 1 second, people are still joining. Then America acid rain. So acid rain, whenever the pH of the rain is less than 6 or 5, it will be termed as acid rain. How the acid rain is happening? Because of the emission of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide from the factories or from any human, anthropogenic activities. Then it will mix with the cloud and forms. Cloud will have water vapor. So that will mix with the water and it will form acetic acid and nitric acid. So this acids will reduce the pH of the rainwater. So when it falls on the again to the earth surface, then all the plants, humans buildings, materials, all the animals, everything will get affected. Nobody can resist even a reduction of zero point 0.5 of pH in the rainwater. So that will create a lot of issues. So acid rain in America has happened in 1969. After that, many people started speaking about the acid rain. So you could see the effect on plants, effect on birds, and West Virginia also they have acid rain, 5,000 times more acidic than the normal rain. So you could see how much pH reduction happened, 5,000 times acidic than the normal rainwater. Rainwater usually will have pH of 6.5 or 7. So you can see how much reduction happened. So these are all the events again happened in 1950. We have a Mexico event there. A major air pollution disaster happened due to the petroleum producing industry. So they have released hydrogen sulfide. So a sudden 22 death. So this type of H2S gas are all having a chronic impact. It means it will not be a long time. It will be sorry, not chronic, acute impacts. So suddenly there will be death. To 320 hospitalized people on there on that day. And then Italy we have a episode like a chemical factory explosion. It releases dioxin. So dioxin is again a carcinogenic substance in the air. If it got accumulated in the human body, easily it will affect the children health. So 19 children were admitted in the hospital with the skin lesions and a high animal and plant mortality. So you can see the impacts of different pollutants in the air. So Bhopal gas tragedy. This is the eye-opening of eye-opening, and it paved the way for Clean Air Act in Clean Air Act in 1984. So 1984 there was a Bhopal gas tragedy. Chemical leak was happened. So what is the pollutant? That methyl isocyanate, MIC. So this was the worst industrial air pollution accident in India. Bhopal gas tragedy, again it created vomiting, eye irritation, blindness. Why no people can get? So it happened during midnight. So many people got died in their home itself during sleeping. So this is again MIC is acute carcinogen. So immediately it will leads to death. So final death toll was estimated around 15,000 to 20,000 people in Bhopal. So this and all we could say like 1984 was the we could say the black day in the history of India. So due to air pollution, explosion from an industry. So attack of the World Trade Center due to terrorist attack. This is again an anthropogenic activity that created a lot of air pollutant like harmful debris and all. So jet fuels was burning after the crash of two aeroplanes. So lots of emission happened. So toxic smoke and fumes were emitted. Persistent cough to the people having risk of asthma. Those who have already having asthma or wheezing issues. So this will aggravate the problem, and firefighters were among most heavily exposed population. So instead of people, the people working in the firefighting area, they have affected, and lots of death has happened. And then vapor cloud explosion in the Indian Oil Corporation in Jaipur due to the leakage of gasoline. See how much smoke and black particulate matters are exploding to the atmosphere. So before explosion, after explosion, how much deposition has happened, and 11 casualties, 5,000 people from the nearby area got evacuated. Then Vizag gas leak in India. So you could see how in Visakhapatnam release of styrene vapor in the area. So that leads to death of cattle. 585 citizens were hospitalized, and the 12 people got died due to the gas explosion. In the pollutant is the styrene here. So you could able to visualize how much impact or history we have on air pollution and the different air pollutant that could cause adverse effect on the nature and the human health. So during the industrial revolution, what is the major starting point for this problem? Due to industrialization. In human evolution itself, it started from burning of wood, burning of coal to burning of oil, and then in industrialization it got hiked, and air quality becomes worsened in 19th and 20th centuries due to the effect of coal smoke. And in Second War also we had seen that rapid industrialization and urbanization, because of the population, the demand was more, and then we have shifted to different fuels, and it created different air pollutants into the atmosphere. Okay, so we are going to see its impact in the further slides. So to know the impacts, we should know what is atmosphere, what is biosphere. So what is biosphere first? Biosphere is a narrow zone of the Earth with lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere interacted with each other. So what is lithosphere? Lithosphere is the land area in the Earth. Hydrosphere is the water area of the Earth, and the atmosphere is the air and air. This three concentrates the biosphere or environment. Got it? So this three will have an interaction, and this interaction is termed as biosphere. So lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. So the water, you could see that here. Yeah, we are going to see anyway. So atmosphere is a gaseous layer surrounding the earth that composes again five layers that we are going to see again. Hydrosphere is the collection of water over and beneath the earth's surface. So there could be again a groundwater flow, and we don't know how much water quantity below the ground surface. That is a huge quantity. So the summation of this groundwater and the surface water will commonly called as hydrosphere. Then lithosphere is the outer solid part of the earth, including the crust and the uppermost mantle. So lower mantle and core will not be considered, only the upper mantle and the crust will be considered as lithosphere in the earth surface. That is the solid form of earth, the land area we could say. So how the atmosphere has evolved. So primordial atmosphere, it was the hot gaseous ball. The earth was created like that only from the sun. Then it got cooled down and it releases different gases from volcanic eruption like N2, CO2, CH4, SO2, because it was in hot state. So lots of volcanic eruption has happened and it releases different air pollutants into the atmosphere. Later it got accumulation of oxygen, and then there could be a form of life as observed today. So now the air consists mainly of nitrogen and oxygen only. So this is the evolution of atmosphere. So as I mentioned earlier, volcanic eruption happened, then condensation, then water we could able to see, then different then once the oxygen got evolved, different life, what we say, origin of life forms has happened. Then now we could see the modern Earth atmosphere. So different layers of atmosphere, as I mentioned, atmosphere is the air space in the earth. Lithosphere is the land space and hydrosphere is the water space. So what are the layers in the air? So we could see from bottom to top, in the land we are in troposphere. Above us it's a stratosphere. So all the flight you could see that are all in flying in the troposphere only. And then the Mount Everest was also below in the troposphere only. Then stratosphere has the ozone layer, then mesosphere, then thermosphere, then exosphere. So everything was divided based on what we say, the temperature gradient. So in the earth it was 15 degree, then if you go up the temperature got reduced to minus 56.5 degree Celsius. Again it got started increasing to minus 2.5. Again it started decreasing minus 18.6.5. Then again it got increasing to 1200. Then above exosphere it will be a huge temperature. So you could see how much kilometer we are in. 0 to 12 is considered as troposphere, then 11 to 50, 50 to 90, 90 to 800, then above 800 kilometer we can say as exosphere. The outer space is exosphere. Okay. So first is exosphere, is the uppermost layer blend with the outer space. So it's above 800 to 3000 kilometer we are saying as exosphere. Then thermosphere is the layer which is the hottest layer where the heat from minus 86 to 1200 is happening. So located above the mesopause. So pause is the one we will use for this layer. The in between layer we will say pause. So this is called a tropopause. This is called a stratopause. And above mesosphere is called mesopause. So above mesopause everything is called a thermosphere. Got it? So that's the word we will use. So mesosphere is the layer above the stratopause. So it reaches about 60, 85 kilometers. So all the metros will travel through the mesosphere only. Then stratosphere has the our protective element, that is the ozone layer. It will range from 11 kilometer to 50 kilometer from the Earth's surface or mean sea level. Then troposphere is the one we are living, very thin layer, 0 to 18 kilometer only. 18 kilometer, you can assume how much meter it is, 1800 sorry, 18,000 meter from the mean sea level. So it consists 75% of the mass of the atmosphere, all the air that could concentrate here only. So that gives the forms of life. So you could see the temperature, as I mentioned, while going up, the temperature got reduced from 15 to minus 50 degrees Celsius. Then later, it got in the tropopause, it was as a pause. Then it got increasing again to minus 5 degree. Then there is a stratopause. Then it got decreasing to minus 80. then 1200 it's going thermosphere and exosphere. That's what the temperature gradient in the sense the slope what we are saying. And then the blue line mentions the pressure. If you go above, the pressure is getting reduced, and above pressure will be nil. That's the pressure gradient. Okay. So what is we have a broad knowledge of atmosphere now. Then what is there in the atmosphere, in the air space? What we are saying, unpolluted air. So unpolluted air is the baseline to compare the polluted air. So what we should know, how much concentration of each element in the atmosphere. Then we could able to say the air is polluted or not. Okay. So unpolluted air is the one which is there in the poles, mountains, sea, desert. That's what we are going there as a picnic spot. We could able to feel the fresh air. That is the unpolluted air. Okay. So indication of aged man-made population. So what is unpolluted air contains? It contains only the particulate matter in suspension, some dry mixtures of gases, some water vapor, some vapors of organic matter. So as I mentioned, what are the things we are saying as pollutants that is already there in the unpolluted air. But once the level of the pollutant got exceeded the limit, then it creates impacts to the severe impacts to the human health and to the environment and also to the ecosystem. That's what we are saying air pollution control. Okay, so the quantity of water vapor varies greatly from almost 0 to 4% by weight. So you could see the composition of unpolluted air. Majorly we have nitrogen only 78% and oxygen we have 21%. And rest will be 0.04% carbon dioxide. This 0.04% we can convert to ppm, that is around 315 or 400 ppm. Now it got increased to 420. That's why now large campaigns are happening to reduce the CO2 levels. Once the CO2 level got increased, what will happen? It will mix with the ozonic water, and CO2 is a CO2 when reacts with water, it will create carbonic acid. That is an acid form. So it will create acid. It will reduce the pH that could erode the coral reef. That's the reason behind the coral reef erosion. So we should control the coral reef. We should prevent the coral reef by reducing the carbon dioxide level in the atmosphere. So the major it should be within less than 0.04 percentage. So other forms of neon, helium, methane, this type of inert gas is also present in the atmosphere. What we call as polluted air, this presence of undesirable substances which interferes with human health or the welfare and harmful environmental effect are called polluted air. Once the concentrated exceeds the baseline concentration. So what we say contamination, what we call pollution. So contamination is the presence of substance should not be there at the concentration above the background level. But pollution is the external element when it is present, adverse biological effect to the resident communities. All pollutants are contaminants only, but not all the contaminants are pollutants. You got it? So pollutants are coming from external atmosphere. That is that is called as a contaminant. But all the contaminants are not called pollutants. You just try to understand the difference. Yeah. So here I am going to talk about the air pollutants, the substance which alter the composition of the natural atmosphere or the baseline unpolluted air. So what are the process which causes the air pollutant to expose, like atmospheric emissions? So lots of natural sources are there for the air pollutants, then transport and mixing, then chemical transformation. These are all the processes that help that make the air pollution in different forms. That's what I have mentioned. The sources will be natural or anthropogenic, that is man-made. So what are the we can classify the air pollutant based on the sources by natural as anthropogenic. On the basis of origin, we can divide into primary and secondary air pollutant. By based on the state of matter, we could classify as gaseous and particulate matter air pollutants. So natural, there are different forms like volcanic eruption is natural process which could also emit lots of sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and then pollen grains. Pollen grains from, you can see like sunflower pollens and all, that is also an air pollutant because that is having a size less than which is in the micron level. So that could easily enter into your lungs and it could cause the health effect. So that is also considered as a air pollutant because many people have allergic symptoms when they are going out in the morning. They could easily get the cough and sneezing because of the air, pollen grains in the air in the early mornings. So they are advised to take the mask and all. So pollen grain is also considered as a natural air pollutant. Bacteria in the air and volcanic eruption, natural fog, the normal mist that we say as in the mountain regions, that are all a form of air pollutant only. Then anthropogenic sources like industries, as we know, vehicular emission. These are the two major anthropogenic activity which could release a huge amount of air pollutant. Okay, then micro scale is the one which is ranging from 0 to 100 meter. Then it is a micro scale air pollution. Mesoscale in the sense local, urban, and regional level, 5 kilometer, 50 kilometer, 500 kilometer. That is mesoscale, regional level. It's a global level that is called macro scale, global or continental level. Like pandemic, we are saying na pandemic, COVID, and all. Global. That's why we are saying pandemic. If it's epidemic or it will be in a small region level. Okay, COVID is a pandemic because it's a macro scale, global level. What we say effect, impact. Okay, so what is the example of micro scale? It is an indoor air pollutant or the dust particle, whatever the kitchen smoke and all. It is called a micro scale air pollutant. Mesoscale air pollutant is the one which will be like regional level, acid rain or a visibility problem in due to heavy traffic in that region. Photochemical smog, that and all we are going to discuss anyway. Macro scale, we can say like ozone depletion that will affect entire globe. Greenhouse gases, global warming, this and all have an impact globally at continental level. So that's called a macro scale. That's an example you can say. So again, I am going to discuss the same. Local level, we can say emission of small emitters like water treatment plant and motor vehicles, that and all. So urban region, there will be a primary and formation of secondary pollutant due to the emission from the vehicles. There could be a formation of the secondary pollutant. That and all we are going to see primary and secondary pollutants. Then regional, we could say like a blend of urban oxidant pollutants from one city to the another. That is a regional problem. Slow reactive primary air pollutants like SO2 and SO3 from the plumes that reduces the visibility of the nearby areas. Then continental level, as I mentioned, acid rain in Great Britain and Western Europe. That and all a continental level problem. It's a then global level we could see this global warming and ozone layer depletion. Okay, so what are the role of atmosphere that could be able to source and sink this relationship between this air pollutant? So source is the one where the pollutant got emitted. So rate, type, source, and its configuration that in all contributes to the source. Then state of atmosphere. It could be whatever the emitted air pollutant that could be able to disperse, transport, or that could be removed by scavenging different adsorptions. Then it is sinking in a receptor response. Impact on the ecosystem is called sink. So there is a source, there is a transformation that is called state of atmosphere, that are the process happening in the atmosphere. Then receptor responses, that is the final one where the pollutant got sink or finally disposed, that is called receptor response or the sink. What we are saying here, that has an impact on the ecosystem is the final disposal point. So what is the source and the sink? The place from the pollutant get emitted are called source. The place where the pollutant got absorbed or converted or transformed into some other constituent and finally disposed is called sink. So where it is started from different industries and transportational activity, where it is accumulated in humans, in environment and ecosystem, and all other materials also it is getting deposited. So receptors are the one who is getting the impact. Maybe materialistic or lively beings like humans, plants, animals, also materials like buildings and monuments. Okay, so we have impact on different materials also, that are all we are going to discuss here due to air pollution. Okay, what are the fate and process and fate of air pollutant once it got emitted, how it will change and how it is depositing. So there are three important process. One is diffusion, second one is transportation, third one is dispersion. So diffusion is how much pollutant reaches a location, that is called diffuse. It is diffusing from the stack, that is a industry, that is a emission from the stack, and diffusing to other place. Transport is a trajectory of a pollutant, that's a movement, that's called transportation. Then dispersion is the one which will reduce in the concentration. So it is disposed in the atmosphere. That like here it is around 100 milligram per meter cube of air. Here, if you see, only 10 milligram per meter cube of air. So you can see the difference in the concentration. That is called disposed. Dispersion is happening. The all the pollutant are getting disposed. Okay. What is transportation? Again, we are going to see all the three in a explained manner. So transportation is the movement of pollution from source to the receptor. That is called transportation. As I mentioned, simple transportation or movement is called transport. Diffusion in the sense a mixing of mixing by turbulence. So it's getting diffused from one place to another. Dispersion in the sense reduction in the concentration due to concentrated gradient. Like osmosis process or reverse osmosis process, how the salt water is getting through the membrane and it is fresh water is getting outside. So one side there is a lot of concentration of salt, one side there is a less concentration of salt. So the movement is happening from higher concentration to low concentration or low concentration to higher concentration. This is called dispersion. So that is through membrane. So membrane dispersion we'll say. But here the same happening. Here 100 milligram per meter cube is here and 10 milligram per meter cube. That is disposed due to concentration gradient. Diffusion in the sense due to turbulence, the movement of wind and all created a turbulence and it got disposed. Got it? Yeah. People are still joining. Okay. So as of now, I hope there is no doubt. I will move on to the third lecture. That is, what are the effect on human health? I'll once check the chat box, and there is no. If you have any doubt, you can post it in the chat box. No issues. Okay. Anytime you can post, I can address. Yeah. So as I mentioned, the air is an essential need of human because human need for one day we need at least 1.5 liters of water or 1.5 kg of water. So minimum we need around 1 kg of food or 0.75 kg of food, but we need 15 kg of air. That's why if you want to target a community or target a nation, you can target their air. So if the air got polluted, the human health will be easily, not easily, what we can say, like rapidly we can reduce the human health. That's the major point. We will have an acute effect on the human health. Immediately it will affect. That's the problem because we are consuming around 15 kg of air. In meter cube we can convert, so this much meter cube of air we are consuming every day. So easily we can, it will affect the health. If we because if we release anything in the water, it will reach the system and it will take time to reach the health, create a health effect. Same to these are all ingestion we will say, but air we will say inhalation. So inhalation directly reaches the lungs and the heart. So that creates a lot of problem with the human health. So air pollution is a major concern that was addressed in the WHO Global Conference in 2018 as silent public health emergency. So they have created a campaign, and according to the WHO report, the worldwide the smoking got reduced to reduced by 29 millions from 2000 to 2015 itself. So from the smoke we got air pollutant got reduced from the tobacco consumption, but still we are emitting from different industries, so that is having huge problems. So there is short-term health effects like headache, nose, throat infections, cough and pneumonia, skin irritations, and a long-term effects you can say like nervous system affect, and then cardiovascular diseases, respiratory diseases. So these are all the long-term effects from air pollutants. So that will aggravate your health problems, whatever the existing health problems. So susceptibility to air pollution, you could see majorly elders and babies or children, those who are already having heart and lung diseases, especially asthma or wheezing, they could feel that smaller quantity or smaller rise in the concentration of air pollutant that will affect them a lot. Okay, the third one you can see like the major emission from the vehicles, and the fourth one is a rural cooking practice with the biomass available, like agricultural waste or the wood or whatever they are getting, they are cooking with that. That will emit lot of smoke. That's why now major in most of the villages in India they have converted to gas, CNG gas, LP sorry LPG gas. So major factors affecting the human, because after considering the smoke effect and the human health effect, we are promoting this type of gas stove cookings. Okay, so major factors affecting the human health: nature of the pollutant, concentration of the pollutant, duration of exposure. Also, long-term duration may also have some effects. State of health and of the receptors and the age group of the receptor. So all the industry, they have a norm now, or a act or the norms, guidelines, how much time person can work in that industry based on the emission from the industries. So if it is a huge emission, they could only work for 3 hours or 4 hours. So if like cycles are there, based considering this type of emissions from the industry. So that also you have to take care. So duration of exposure is the major thing. Pyramid of health impact, like if pollution, first they will expose, then psychological changes, then symptoms will be there, then primary health care attendance, then emergency, then hospital admission. So this type of severity level it will go. Okay. This is the major air pollutant or the common air pollutant affecting the human health. As we all know, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide is the pollutant that will create impact on the ozone layer only. But these are all, carbon monoxide is the one which directly affects the human health directly. Carbon dioxide is the indirect effect by global warming. And then sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, that is all NOx, SOx we will say. So any number you can add at the X. Then ozone is a pollutant, particulate matter. PM, many in all newspaper nowadays we are seeing the word particulate matter or PM, PM10, PM2.5. So this particulate matter size is mentioned at the suffix. So that addresses the diameter of the particle. So why they are addressing only PM10 and PM2.5? Because these are the size 10 micrometer or 2.5 micrometer that could easily enter into your lungs. So they are assessing how much PM2.5 particle is in the air. So how much impact it will give to the human health. So PAH is the polyaromatic hydrocarbons, dioxins, that is a human carcinogen, and then volatile organic matters. So these are all common air pollutants which could affect the human health. So we are going to see one by one. So different health effects, like as I mentioned, cardiovascular, headaches, eye, nose, throat irritation, because it's going through inhalation. Then there's respiratory system impacts, liver, spleen, blood, all the reproductive system. You can see the whole body will get affected. Then carbon monoxide, where it is getting released, it's a colorless gas, it's a odorless, tasteless gas, it's a silent killer. That's the name for carbon monoxide. So incomplete combustion of fuel will produce carbon monoxide. If you burn with the proper oxygen and proper heat, you will get CO2. If you are having incomplete combustion, then you will produce carbon monoxide. That's the difference. Okay. So if you have incomplete combustion with less amount of oxygen, then you will produce, instead of CO2, CO only will be produced. So major source will be vehicles only. So if it is a proper combustion from the vehicle, you could see smoke from the vehicles and all, and then non-road vehicles, engines, industrial process, fuel consumption. This, see, everything based on fuel only. Carbon monoxide is releasing from the fuel. So what is the effect it will have? Major health effects like lethal. Lots of vision damage, headaches, and all. You could just read this. Sulfur dioxide is a second pollutant, common pollutant. So that will emit due to burning of materials like coal, diesel vehicles. All the vehicular emission will have NO2 and sulfur dioxide. So these are all mainly from fuel emission, fuel burning. Then sulfur dioxide health effects will be short-term health effects like broncho constrictions, like it will start reduce in size, and then eye, nose, throat irritation, mucus secretion. So these are all related with lungs. Long-term exposure will cause respiratory illness and aggravate the heart disease. So sulfur dioxide, as we already seen, there is a lot of death happened in the Great Smoke, London and New York City smoke. Lots of death has already happened due to sulfur dioxide. Then nitrous oxide. This is also due to combustion of fuels only, but in the that is due to coal combustion. This is due to car and truck exhausts or any traffic exhaust. We could see this nitrogen dioxide and nitrogen oxide. Anything NOx, NO2, N2O, everything will be released from vehicular combustion only in fuel combustion. So prolonged exposure will lead to pulmonary fibrosis. Okay. So ozone is the other common pollutant. But why we are saying ozone as a pollutant? Because it's ozone is a preventive layer which helps the helps the Earth uh, by preventing the Earth from the harmful ultraviolet radiation in the stratosphere. But once the ozone is generated in the troposphere, then it is having impact on the human health. That's why the ground level ozone is harmful. Stratospheric ozone is the good one. That's what we will say as good and bad ozone. Good ozone is the one which is there in the stratosphere, which will protect the Earth atmosphere from the UV radiation. But the ground level ozone is the one which causes human health effects. So it's again a colorless and highly irritating gas, which will be formed by photochemical reactions. Once the sunlight is there and there is a material which could able to react with oxygen, then we could able to see the formation of O3 above the Earth's surface. So it's again having a long term and short term effects. The lead nowadays everything leaded petrol got banned in India. So lead is a toxic element that was due to the burning of fuels that contains lead. Now all what we are getting petrols and all lead free petrols. You could see in the petrol bulks everywhere. Lead is toxic because to adults and pregnant women it is having a neurotoxic effects and irreversible neurological damages. And particulate matter is the other common air pollutant. PM is a mixture of solid, liquid, and both the particles. That will cause the particulate matter. So it will be emitted from burning processes. We know whatever you burn, there will be a particulate matter emission. Agricultural operations and then constructions, vehicular emissions, and then road dust. Everything is a particulate matter only. So based on size, we will have a different passages into human body. So as I mentioned, if it is greater than 11 micrometer, it will enter into the nostril. 7 to 11 will enter into the nasal cavity, and then to the larynx, to the trachea, to the bronchial. So all the blood vessels it could is easily able to enter if the size is very less. So particulate matter invade the deepest part of the airways and easily reach the bloodstreams. Got it? So what we are concerning mostly two sizes because we could not able to measure all the sizes. So we are measuring PM10 and PM2.5 having 10 micrometer and 2.5 micrometer size less than we could say. So it having a human health effect like premature death. But 2.5 have a larger health impacts like low body weight, birth, asthma development, infertility. Everything will be caused by PM 2.5. Okay, then PAH, polyaromatic, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon. Aromatic is the one which have a benzene ring in its compound. So polyaromatic hydrocarbons is the one which will be found in coal and tar sediments. So once it got sediment settled in the earth surface, then it will release this PAH or it will be there in that. So incomplete combustion of organic matter will also releases PAH. So if you, that's why we are that will come again. Volatile organic carbons that is called toluene benzene and ethylene benzene that are carcinogens again. Dioxins will be released. Dioxin is the dioxins 2, 3, 7, 8 tetra chlorodibenzo paradioxin. That's the TCDD, but shortly we will call it as dioxin. So why we are not burning plastics or PVC type of plastics that will release furans and the dioxins. That's the major reason we should not burn the plastic. Whatever the black smoke coming out, that is mostly contains dioxins and furans. Once we burn the plastics. Okay, so see everywhere dioxins is releasing combustion from engines, industrial processes, incineration of waste, and then all the landfills and all everywhere reservoir sources dioxins are producing. So it's a carcinogen, as I mentioned. It created dark spot and lesions in the skin. You could see in the 2004, dioxin causes a permanent, what we say, skin lesion on the surface of the skin. You could see who you see like President of Ukraine. Yeah, he got this permanent skin lesion in 2004 due to dioxin emission. Yeah, so we could now you could be able to understand we have to study about the air pollution because this common even this simple common air pollution could cause this type of this much adverse effect on the human health. So population in the urban areas are more susceptible to air pollution due to urbanization and industrialization. Yeah. So now we have understood the impact on the human health. Now we are going to see the impact on the plants and the animals. This is also a living being, so this will also have a huge negative impact on the air pollutant have a negative impact on this type of plants and the animals. You could see the air pollutant have a negative impact on the plant growth, like ozone and NOx affects the metabolic function of the leaves and interfere with the net carbon fixation because carbon from the atmosphere, carbon dioxide should be fixed in the plant body, then only it could be able to grow. So it will affect the net fixation and water stress will be created. Yeah. So, so what are the factors that will influence the impact of the air pollution on the plant? Pollutant concentration, exposure time. It's the same like human health. It will have a different factors that will affect the impact of air pollution on the plant, like soil condition, genetic origin, nutrition status, age of the plant, rate of growth of the plant, exposure of the sunlight, and climatic conditions. So this will also have injuries and damage like aesthetic and economic damages, because most of the agricultural plant, if it got damaged, it will create economic loss to the population and to the government. And degree of injury against air pollution, you could see like if the concentration is higher with the time, that is the concentration and the time, you could be able to see the degree of injury will be higher. So if there is a lot of exposure time and with high concentration of the air pollutant, we could see the death. I mean, that is the ultimate injury level. The exposure is directly proportional to the concentration and the time. So there is a two pathway to enter into the plant body for the air pollutant. One is the direct pathway through the stomata, that is a micro opening in the leaves, and then indirect pathway through the root, soil and water. So if the water and soil having that air pollutant, that will also be enter into the plant body. So like the pathway from the environment, it will reach the biota, that is the plant body, then plant organ to the whole body it will go. We are again eating the same plant, so it will enter into the human body and it will enter into the food chain. Like that, it will go again and again. So air pollutant affecting plant body, again the common air pollutants such as sulfur dioxide, ozone, chlorine, hydrogen chloride, nitrogen oxide, ammonia are all air pollutant that will affect the plants. So, like first one is the ozone, how it affects the plant, because it enters into the stomatal opening and reacts with the leaf tissue, because it's an oxygen molecule that will easily react with the leaf tissue and it inhibits the photosynthesis process. That is the major process for the leaf to get the food. So that will get affected and it disturbs the carbohydrate transport, increases the sugar concentration. These are all the negative impact on the plant body. You could be able to see the impact on the deciduous coniferous and hardwood pine trees due to the effect of ozone. So SOx and NOx have an impact, like as I mentioned, SOx and NOx are the major air pollutant which causes the acid rain, because once the SOx and NOx cause released from the industry, that is NO2 and SO2, that will react with the water molecule in the cloud and it will form HNO3 and H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid and nitric acid, that reduces the pH of the water. That's called acid rain. When it falls on the soil or on the plant or on any human being, it will get affected. Trees killed by acid rain. That is one episode we had seen in the history. So acid rain weakens the tree by damaging the leaves, limiting the uptake of the nutrients. Lower pH level, majority of the macronutrients become unavailable. That's the problem. So that will be again acid rain facilitates the leaching of the beneficial nutrients. So that is called a 1-2 punch that could severely impact the ability of the trees to grow. So whatever the nutrients that is there in the plant, that will be leached. Also, it will release the substances such as ammonia that will toxic to the plant. Some metals that is required, macronutrient that is required for the plant will be leached out. Ammonia that is not required for the plant will go into the plant. So that is called a 1-2 punch effect on the plants due to acid rain. Yeah, you could see some of the photos here, and impact of the air pollutant on animals. These are some of the minor air pollutant that could create lots of effect on the plants. Now we are moving to the animals. So not only human health, all the ecosystem get impact by the air pollution. You could see the animal dog suffering from the nasal infections, like two-step process. One is accumulation of airborne contaminants on the vegetation, and it will be served as a food for the animals, or it will directly inject into the animal body. You got it two pathways. One is it will accumulate into the vegetation and the vegetation will be served as a food for the animals, or it will directly the animals will inhale the air pollutants. These are the two pathways. Then animals ingest the contaminated after deposition. You could see the impact like altered animal behavior, disease and mortality, easy organ toxicity you could see, and then due to mercury, carbon monoxide, NOx, SOx, again biodiversity loss, excess deposition of the airborne nitrogen in the form of ammonia, they create a stress in the biodiversity. and then change in the species distribution. You could able to see these are all the problems and the events that has happened in the history, like in Musa Valley, illness and mortality among pets and farm animals. So lots of pets got mortality rate got increased, and the London fog also, it not only affected the humans, it also affected the cattle. And in Rika also, they could see animals including chicken, pigs, and all get affected. So how it affects the pets? Increasing risk of tumors. You could see lots of tumors due to air pollutants. Dogs undergo cough, nose, and throat diseases, like and then cardiac arrest will also happen. May also happen to the pets. So amphibians like frogs and all, they have a affect like impair the immune systems and all that could affect their reproductive systems. Then birds you could see like a direct effect from the coal plants. What are the PM exhaust and the sulfur dioxide exhaust that could damage the respiratory system of the birds, and deposition of air pollutant in wetlands increases the pH results. You could see like fishes, if fishes the population got decreased, the birds the population will also get decreased. So that's a direct correlation, and discoloration of the birds may also happen due to the amount of black carbon in the air. That is the particulate matter emitted from the industries. And then fish, how it affected the acid rain. As I mentioned, even a decrease in the zero point 0.5 level of pH that could have a great impact on the global. Like even temperature of zero point 0.5, we are now facing 1.5 degree rise in the temperature in India in major cities like Chennai, Hyderabad, and all. Lots of results are proving there is an increase of 1.5 degrees Celsius in the last century. We are seeing the effect now. So like that, if the pH is reduced by even 0.1, sorry, zero point 0.5, then we could see the impact like that it will kill the fish, and it will have a respiratory distress in this fish, and it will relocate the native fish. Once the fish will relocate, then birds will not come there for food, and it will also die. Like it's a food chain, so it will affect the whole ecosystem. Then it has an impact on the insect also. Air pollution digests organic waste less effectively, so the insect cannot digest. So that will enter into the body, what I have mentioned, the size levels and all. It will build up the organic waste into the in its body, and rises in the tumors and all. Like major pollutants will affect the farm animals like fluorine, arsenic, and lead. The same heavy metals that affects the cattle in the form of water pollution also. So water, we could be able to remove the fluoride, arsenic as of now from the groundwater. We have a lot of treatment techniques. The same is happening in the air also. Now air pollutants such as fluorides, arsenic, and lead that have a greater impact. Like fluoride that affects that creates a fluorine toxicosis to the cattle and the sheep. This creates a lack of appetite. The animals won't feel hungry, and bone deformities and malnutrition. Fluoride level got increased in the ingestion level correlates with the fluoride contents of the bones and the urine. So that could be able to see with the results from the cattle that have assessed. Arsenic is another toxic element that is a poison of livestock near the industrial region. Severe salvations and depression effects and thickening of the skin. These are all the effects happening on the cattle. You could see the names of the diseases, and the lead could cause the lead from the petrol, as I mentioned, that is the emission from the combustion of leaded fuels, so that have acute effect on the cattle, like prostration and then paralysis of muscles on throat areas. You could see it will the behavior you could not understand, and then nostril infection and all you could be able to see. So cattle showing head pressing behavior, it will press somewhere in the wall, and out of control and crashes in the obstacles. Like these are all the effect. It will affect the neurological system and the brain functioning. Yeah. So other pollutant and their effect on the animals, like ozone have an impact, nitrogen dioxide have an impact, everything have impact on the respiratory system of the cattle. So you could see from this lecture, you could understand not only the human health, but also the plant and the animals also got affected by the air pollutant due to the deposition of airborne particles and entering into the food chain and the ecosystem, resulting in a biodiversity loss. So we could understand the pollutant level, and we need to try to control that. Okay, the final lecture is about another 10 minutes I will take for this. That will be the impact of air pollutant on the building material and structures. A civil engineer and also materialistic industrial person, you could also think about how it is affecting the other materials or the material which is manufactured in the industries. So you could see that. Rapid major thing we know, like discoloration of Taj Mahal, from white it become brown due to the emission of sulfur from the nearby industry that got deposited and reacted with the, because Taj Mahal is made up of marble. Marble is a salt. What salt? Calcium salt. So calcium carbonate will react with sulfate and it form calcium sulfate. So that's a reaction happening in the marbles and it got decolorized. So that's a good example for impact of air pollution on the materials and buildings or monuments, we can say. So this results in the rapid urbanization. We could be able to reduce the servicing life of the buildings, because the air pollution, it will directly affect the service life of the building. If we build it for 100 years, so it will directly deteriorate in 50 years itself. So you could see able to see the decoloration of the building and the building materials. What are the impacts? There are major 5 damages. One is discoloration, one is material loss, directly it will corrode. Then black crust formation, the same happened with the animals also. Structural failure, directly it will erode, means direct failure happens. Abrasion action. So these are all the 5 damages that could happen to the material from air pollution. So discoloration, as I give an example, like Taj Mahal in 1992, you could see, and 2018 you could see the air pollution in Delhi, and also the color change in the marbles. So color of the stone material marble exposure to the polluted environment, it become yellowish due to the polluted air. Then material loss, you could see, like some of the monuments or the sculptures, the everything was related to, again, SO2 only. So that corrodes the material, because it will, whenever it start reacting with the moisture, it create H2SO4. So that's the reason acid could corrode the materials. So then sulfation, so that's called sulfation phenomena, mainly responsible for the erosion. Then structural failure, you could see the cracks, the frost formation, and the salt weathering. So what are the salt in the air that could be able to erode the weather the material that is present? Weathering in the sense degradation. Then formation of cracks will happen. That's the structural failure. Then aberration action. Aberration in the sense it will the air or the wind flow along with the particles will deposit some particles, or it may take away some particles. So that will particulate matter like soot and dust are responsible for the aberration nature upon the wind velocity and the exposure site. And damages, you can see the plumbings and all. What are the materials, whatever maybe stones or plastic, water, everything is getting corroded nowadays because of the acidic environment of the air. Particulate matter includes the light absorption components, like you can see the deposition of black carbons. Particulate matter is have a property, it will affect the transmittance of light. So if it is a clean air, you will be able to see the light without scattering, it will reach the other point. But if it is lots of particulate matter is there, that is called the Brownian movement, the light could not be able to pass through that. It causes what we say, visibility will be reduced. Then meteorological factors like relative humidity, temperature, wind movement, that will again affect the material properties. Like relative humidity, like humidity is the one, is or moisture is a very important factor for degradation of the building material. As I mentioned, whenever the air pollutant become acidic in the presence of moisture only. Okay, wind movement. Wind movement will create a deposition of the air pollutant. So low wind conditions, air pollutant concentration could be high in that area. Accumulation of air pollutant over the building materials and the structures could be possible, because it will deposit the materials. High wind erode the material. So both are problem for the material. Temperature, as I mentioned, if the temperature increases, it will have a corrosion rate up to a temperature. Then again, it will be retardation. So what are the pollutant that is responsible for degradation? Carbon dioxide, SOx, NOx, ozone, and particulate matter. So these are all the air pollutant responsible for degradation of materials. How carbon dioxide will affect? So whenever the fossil fuel is emitted, so that will react with the water and it forms a carbonic acid. That is again an acid. Sulfur, it will form with ozone and it will form SO3. Again, it will react with water. It have a H2SO4 again, yeah, acid. It will degrade the material. So wherever it's forming acid, that's why I said air pollution, when it having a relative humidity or the moisture in the atmosphere, it will form acid. So NOx again will react with water and form nitric acid. Ozone, ozone will produce NO2. NO2 again will form the same effect already. So ozone. I am mentioning about the troposphere ozone. That is the ground level ozone. Then particulate matter directly deposit on the surface and deteriorate the exposed surface. That's a black crust formation. Okay. This chemistry of corrosion, how it's happening? The same one again and again. I'm teaching the same acid rain concept. Whenever that's released from the emissions, that will transform in the atmosphere into acidic form. But there are two ways for deposition. One is dry deposition, that is the sink we say. Another one is wet deposition. Both are the sink. So directly, if the acid as a particle, if it is deposited, then it's called dry deposition. When it is reacting with the moisture and forming acid, and then depositing in the environment, that is called wet deposition. Okay, dry deposition is the sense we say like gaseous pollutant directly falls on the sheltered area. Wet deposition is the one which forms the acid and by reacting with the moisture, then it got deposited on the surface. So what are the material that is getting affected? Metals, stones, brick and mortar, concrete, paints and polymers. You can say like even plastic also getting affected. That paint you can say. So we are going to see that only. So range of sensitivity you can say metals how it is corroding. If it is a ferrous metal, it contains iron. Non-ferrous metal which not contains iron, that is a metal and non-metal. So what is the effect on that? Electrochemical process again. Atmospheric corrosion is generally an electrochemical process on the surface of the wet surface, because whenever the ferrous it reacts with the water, it will form rust. So the important parameters are humidity, precipitation. These are all related to moisture again, temperature, level of atmospheric pollutants. So you could see SO2 causes most damaging for the corrosion of the material. The role of NOx and ozone is also responsible for corrosion of the material in certain ways. Then, as I mentioned, salt is a particle that is a pollutant in the air. So, sea salt nearby the ocean areas, you could see the corroded building. Building, we have a separate IS code to design nearby coastal regions, because it will easily corrode the salt particles in the air that may easily corrode. So, what the sea salts contains majorly of chloride, sodium, sulfates, and other salts. So, chloride is the major accelerated for corrosion of metals. Accelerated in the sense which will fast, what do we say, like boost the process. Effect of non-ferrous materials like copper, aluminum, brass, everything have a corrosion effect, and but with less degree than ferrous. Stones, most of the monuments and sculptures are made with stones, but calcareous and siliceous stones, having sandstone, limestone, marble. Siliceous stones are the one which have silica particles like granite, quartz, and feldspar. So most of you from civil background having soil geotech knowledge, they may know about the basics of siliceous and calcareous rocks. So these are all forms of rock that will get affected by the air pollutants. Like you see, calcite rock having calcium carbonate, when it reacts with sulfur with the water, calcium sulfate will be formed. That's what happened in the Taj Mahal. Marble is form of calcium carbonate only. Then the same carbonic acid will be formed again. It's also an acid that will corrode the calcite. So what are the effects on the calcareous rock? Like short term, if it is a simple dissolution and attack by dry deposition, long term by wet deposition. Yeah. So build up on the non-steady salts, formation of the crust, and in slow and exfoliation. Like even you can see the mountain rocks also got eroded due to the salt deposition. Then the bricks and mortar, you can see the deterioration due to air pollutant, not by the weight. Due to air pollutant, unaffected by the bricks is unaffected by sulfate attack. Mortar is affected by the mortar consists of sand, calcium hydroxide, and other carbonate phases. So that will got eroded by the acid attack. Then concrete have steel, I mean the reinforced concrete I'm talking about. So that will be easily, when it exposed to the air pollutant with this type of moisture and air pollutant, then easily it will get corroded. Cement is an alkaline material which is susceptible to acid attack. There is no problem. But badly prepared concrete lead to steel corrosion, because when it got exposed, it will start developing the cracks. Okay, so these are the effect. You could see the cracks and all. Then paints, as I mentioned, even the polymers and the paints, the plastics will also have effect. I mean, the air pollution have even effect on this also. The damage to the paint and the polymeric materials like acidic deposition, and the most serious impact studies involves the influence of sulfates and the paints and the calcium carbonate fillers that are the impact you could see. Like polymers in the sense the plastic and the rubber. Rubber is also a polymeric material having a carbon-carbon bond. So that can be broken down by ozone present in the ground level or air pollutant, yeah, as a air pollutant. So this ozone is a strong oxidant that could degrade the bond between the carbon to carbon, and you could see the cracks in the tires. So most of the tire failures are happening due to this type of air pollution. That is the study reveals. So number of cracks and the depth of the crack in the rubber due to tension and related to the ambient concentration of the ozone. So when the ozone is more, there could be a lot of cracks in the polymeric materials. That is the other study mentions. So why we are studying this thing, like whatever happens to the material, that is directly proportional to the economic impact. So whenever a building or a material got damaged, that will directly have an impact on the economic status of the community. So air pollution is directly responsible for the economic loss in the urban areas. So tourism may fail, or this type of material failure may have a huge impact on the industrialization. So it increases the annual maintenance cost, decreases the lifespan of the building. So you could see like how much repair cost due to corrosion of materials. In euros, they have a study, and these are all due to air pollutants again. What are the remedial measures we can say? Like restriction of the vehicular traffic and industrial activities, and the application of the preservative coatings that could reflect the air pollutants, and then acrylic copolymers and the silicos that have less reaction with the air pollutants. So this type of non-reactive materials we can give us a coating. So like removal of soluble salts, whatever the salt deposition that happened, this you can say like this is a Mahabalipuram in Chennai beaches. It's a coastal region, so that also have a salt attack that they have repaired, and the surface they have coated with the paper pulp to remove the soluble salts. This is a non-destructive method again. So from the whole conclusion, I could say like air pollutant is having a problem. It's emitted from the anthropogenic activity as a major. Even natural also we have a source for air pollutant. It have a huge impact on the human health, animals and plants, and even to the materials like by corrosion, by deposition, by acid attack, and by loss of materials, even to the buildings, monuments, and polymers and plastics. Okay, so there could be a direct impact on the economy. Again, it's everything connected with the economy. If there is economic loss, we have to address this immediately. Or environment impact, we have to address this immediately. So you could see like annual maintenance cost is around 3% of the world's GDP. That's a major impact, economic impact. Okay. So I hope you could understand from my lecture about this first week, and we could move on to the problem solving session. Like I have made some 15 questions. If you have any doubt, please ask in the chat box, or you can unmute and you can ask. I will wait for 1 minute and I can go to the problem solving session. Yeah, please. Um, I'll open the presentation for problem solving session. Kindly post the answers in the chat box. I'll give 1 minute for time for each questions. I'll move on to the first question. I'll read the question. Please post the answers in the chat box. Okay. Yeah. So the first question is, match the air pollution event or accident with the year of occurrence. Okay, so first is the Pennsylvania air smog, and then second one is the Los Angeles smog. Third one is the Bhopal gas tragedy, vapor cloud explosion. I know about the Bhopal gas tragedy, so I will relate with that. Bhopal gas tragedy occurred in 1984. So you can connect as a C1. C is the one option. So option A is correct. Yes, exact. Yeah, A is correct. So Bhopal gas tragedy happened in 1984. So option A is correct. So somebody raised a hand. So if you have any doubt, please unmute and ask, or you can post in the chat box also. No issue. Yeah. So I'll move on to the next question. The answer is A. Yes. Pennsylvania smoke happened in 1948. Los Angeles smoke in 1954. Bhopal gas tragedy we know 1984. And then vapor cloud explosion happened in 2009. That is also in vapor cloud in where? Vizag, Jaipur. Yeah. You can see the answer here. 1 second. Yeah. Here. Vapor cloud explosion in Jaipur. Yeah. Vizag happened in 2020. Gas leak. Can I move to the next question? Yes. So the second question is, which of the following fuel was banned by King Edward I of England in 13th century? Wood, coal, both coal and wood, fossil fuel. Which of the following fuel was banned in England in 13th century? Wood, coal, both coal and wood, fossil fuel. Yep. So the answer is coal. Yeah, B is correct. So here we have seen like most of the United Kingdom, they, in all the 3 centuries, they have banned the coal after knowing the adverse effect of the coal. And you can see like 13th to 17th century, there was a lots of amendment came on the banning of coals. Yeah, yeah. So third question is, the lithosphere includes crust, uppermost mantle, water over the earth, water beneath the earth. Yeah. So the biosphere is consist of three layers. One is lithosphere, hydrosphere, third one is atmosphere. So atmosphere is the air area, hydrosphere is the water above and below the earth, lithosphere is the land area that is having crust and uppermost mantle. Yeah. So 1 and 2. C is correct. 1 and 2. Yes. So option 3 is correct. Okay. So that's what we have discussed. So how can chemical transformation affect the air pollutant? So what are the chemical transformation happening in the air pollutant? By it will neutralize them, it will form the secondary pollutant, it will make them harmless, it will increase their density. So how it affects the air pollutants? The chemical transformation. So we have first the source, that is the emission. Then there is a chemical transformation. Then finally sink, that is the deposition, receptor level. So emitter, receiver. Center, there is the chemical transformation. So that will form, maybe the primary pollutant got emitted, that may directly deposit or that may convert into a secondary pollutant and then it will deposit in the sink. So by forming secondary pollutant is the correct answer. B is correct. Yeah. So air pollutant that may cause the secondary pollutant by atmospheric transformation, transport and mixing, and chemical transformation. Yes. What are polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons? PAH primarily found in. So we know what are the sources for different air pollutants. So PAH, what is the source? Water and air, coal and tar sediments, vegetation, natural gas. Okay. Where the carbon monoxide will be formed? By incomplete combustion of fuels or any materials. Where SOx will be formed? SOx will SO2 will be formed from burning of biomass. NO2 will be formed from vehicular emission. These are all the major source I am saying. PAH will be found in coal and tar sediments. That is correct. Ozone will be formed from photochemical reaction in the atmosphere when ozone is reacting with any volatile organic material or any acceptor. Got it? So these are all the primary air pollutants I am talking about. Lead is coming from the leaded fuels, burning of leaded fuels or combustion of. Okay, so polyaromatic hydrocarbons are found in coal and in tar sediments. So it may also form from incomplete combustion of organic matter, because aromatic hydrocarbon is a organic matter. Yeah. So sixth question, which comprises dispersion, transformation, and removal? Source emission or state of atmosphere or receptor response, that is a sink. Which comprises dispersion, transformation, and removal. Source is the sink, receptor or source is the emission, state of atmosphere is the transformation, receptor response is the sink. So answer is no, 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 not A. Answer is B, right? Yeah, B. Okay, this question got twisted. Okay, here you can see the figure. Yeah. Source is the emission, that is the rate type and source configuration. What are the pollutant that is getting emitted? That may be the primary pollutant directly. That's what I told. A receptor response, that is the sink deposition point. This is the final. Center is the state of atmosphere. That is the center part that have a dispersion, transformation, and removal. You got it? Yeah. So this you just look into that have state of atmosphere have dispersion, that is the atmospheric stability that we are going to discuss in the second week, transformation, that is the chemical reaction, and the removal by scattering, scavenging, and absorption that we are going to see in the upcoming weeks. Yeah, which of the following is the short term effect of dioxin on humans? uh Ma'am, don't look into assignments. That actually I should not match with the assignment problem, but I don't have access to the old assignment. Tomorrow I will get, so it will not be the same. uh you can write the assignment on your own. Materials, everything is there. All the questions are there in the material, so you can easily identify, and it will be easy questions only. Yeah. Which of the following is a short-term effect dioxin on humans? Like vomiting, coughing, dark spot and lesions on the skin, throat irritation. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so answer is dark spot that we have already uh, we have seen, like dioxin is a carcinogen that have a dark spot and lesion on the skin that have a, you have already seen in the president of Ukraine. He had the same effect on 2004, that and all we had seen like one example. Okay, eighth question: which of the following are the major contributor of acid rain? That again and again I have repeated: carbon monoxide, N2O, sulfur dioxide. That's not SO4. I'm sorry, it is not SO4. It is SO2. I'm sorry. So the answer is not B, not B. There are two options. Which of the following are? There may be one or two option. It's a multiple choice question. So this also you have to take care while answering in the exams. If it is a circle, that is a single answer question. If it is a square, that is a multiple choice question. You have to tick. You can tick more than one option. One or more than one option may be correct. So the answer is sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide. So both answers are correct. Kindly check into it. So sulfur dioxide will form H2SO4. Nitrogen dioxide will form HNO3. So both will form the acid rain. So here we had seen both, right? NO2. But they have mentioned NOx. NO2, NO3, N2O, everything will cause the acid rain. Okay, which of the following pollutant is not mentioned as a causing or not mentioned as causing organ toxicity in animal? We have seen lots of pollutant that causes toxicity in the animals, organ toxicity, like carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, ammonia, mercury. So which one is not mentioned as a toxic element for animals? Yeah, this one is like somewhat interior ammonia. Yeah, you could see like organ toxicity arising from CFCs, ammonia, volatile organic matter, mercury, carbon monoxide, NOx, oxide, everything creates all the common air pollutant causes organ toxicity to the animals. So ammonia is not a common air pollutant. So that is the answer. Yes. So what is the major stressor to biodiversity caused by air pollution? Major stressor in the sense it got a shock load, having a major impact. Excess deposition of airborne nitrogen in the form of ammonia, carbon dioxide emission, ozone layer depletion, acid rain. Yeah, I forgot the answer. Major stressor to the biodiversity caused by the air pollution. Excess deposition of airborne nitrogen in the form of ammonia, carbon dioxide emission, ozone layer depletion, acid rain. I think all the other three are long-term effect. First one is the short-term, I guess. It is asked in the. Biodiversity. Okay, 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 okay. So biodiversity, excess deposition of airborne nitrogen in the form of ammonia is among the major stresses to the biodiversity. Yes. Even acid rain also having a fish death. Even ozone layer depletion having a direct skin problems to the animals. So lots are there. Still, excess deposition of airborne nitrogen in the form of ammonia is the answer for biodiversity loss. Yes. So I will move on to the next question. Um, so 11th one, as a preservative coating on the building surface, material used like acrylic copolymers and silicone because of their dash film forming properties. Good cohesion, good adhesion, weak cohesion, weak adhesion. So I will tell you the definition. I mean difference. Cohesion is the one that may happen between two similar materials. Adhesion is the one which will happen between two different materials. So, building surface is made up of maybe bricks or concrete. Acrylic copolymers and silicones are different materials. So, if the binding is happening, that's called adhesion. So, this we are applying due to weak adhesion or good adhesion to get a good adhesion. So, answer is B. Yeah, I missed it here during the lecture. Acrylic copolymers and silicones we have to apply because it is non-reactive to this type of air pollutants. So they're having a good adhesion film forming properties. Film forming. Film in the sense like this type of films will reflect the water, oil and air particles. Yeah. So the last one, forest fire contributes to the presence of, okay. Forest fire contribute to the presence of polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons in the environment because they involve incomplete combustion of organic matter, complete combustion of trees, chemical reaction in the soil, evaporation of water. Yeah, we have already seen in the same pH slide. pH will be made up, pH may be released due to incomplete combustion of organic matter because this is the organic matter. This will release from organic matter only. So incomplete combustion of organic matter may cause pH. So this is found in coal and tar. Yes. So answer is A. Yes. So thank you so much for attending the session. Uh, if you have any doubt, please post it in the chat box or you can unmute and you can ask. If you don't have any doubt, you can leave the meet. This is my contact detail. You can contact me through email or you can also post it in the Q&A session. You can see the Q&A session in the, I'll show that. 1 second. Yes, I think you all are. Yeah, video also I have recorded for the last 2 hours. This will also be posted in the. You can see the week one, week two, week three also live now. Now you can see the problem solving session. You will be going to the Excel sheet. There you can see all the. I have not logged in, so you can see that Excel sheet. There I will upload the videos and the material what I have taught and the problem solving materials also. All the materials I have uploaded in a Google Drive. And so after the deadline ends, you will get the marks. So Wednesday evening, you will get the marks. I mean, or Thursday morning, you can say. So tomorrow is the deadline for both week one and week two assignment. The extended deadline for week one was given by the NPTEL team. So kindly finish both week one and week two assignment by tomorrow itself. So tomorrow we are having week 2 class 6 to 8 Wednesday only for this week. Next week onwards only Tuesday 6 to 8. So you won't get any mail for tomorrow. If you want, please attend the session. Anyway, I am going to record for week 2. I will upload in the Excel sheet. Okay. So complete the quick week 1 quiz and week 2 quiz. You can also post any doubt in the Q&A session, that is a Google forum. I will also periodically answer the questions or else you can ask in the live session also. Okay, all the recorded videos will be given. Uh, that I have requested NPTEL team to solve the issue. I have uploaded. They will sort it out by tomorrow itself. I will call them again tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. Any other doubt you can ask. The last introduction section also last week Tuesday I have taken. That also I will upload as 1A and 1B as today. Tomorrow is week 2. And then third week from next week Tuesday onwards. So don't forget to attend the assignments before Wednesday. That is mandatory if you are applying for the examination. I think examination registration will be over. Will deadline will be over soon. So please apply for the examination if you want the certificate. Yeah. So this live session is not mandatory. So please, if you want to attend, please attend. So this will be useful. In 2 hours, I will take the lecture and the problem solution. I will have some more problems in the next week. This is a 12-week course. I think credit will be based on your institute norms. I don't know. In NIT Trichy, we have a 4 credit for 12-week course. 3 credit or 4 credit. Yeah. You can ask your institute regarding the credit transfer. I don't know. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you so much. If you have any doubt, please unmute and ask. I'll put it in the chat box. I'll be in the meet for next 2-3 minutes. Somebody raised the hands. Yeah. Uh, Sorry if you want to ask. Yeah. Okay. So next class will be tomorrow. Only this week I'm going to take on Wednesday again, 6 to 8 for the week 2 session. This is week 1 session again. So next week onwards, Tuesday 6 to 8. So you won't get mail for tomorrow. The same link, Google Meet link. Please join for the week 2 session tomorrow, 6 to 8 p.m. Tomorrow 6 to 8 p.m. Wednesday 6 to 8 p.m. Please attend for the week 2 session. From next week onwards, it will be Tuesday 6 to 8 only. Yeah. If you have any doubt in between, you can ask in the Q&A session also. Hope you have enjoyed the session. If you have any comments, you can also post. I will try to modify. You can understand my speed and if any pronunciation you can want me to change, you just mention. I will change accordingly. Thank you so much for joining. I'll close the meet. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all for joining. You can leave the meet. I will end the meeting. Uh, Nizamuddin sir, do you have any doubt? You have raised the hand. Sorry. I hope you have no doubt, so I will close the meet. Thank you so much for joining.